Alright gamers, my name is KarQ, and Hazard's free trial is probably over by the time you're watching this, and you can play him fully in Season 14 on December 10th, but here are my thoughts of him. I have some opinions to share. So general thoughts, let's start with design. I was in the same boat as everybody else when his first cinematic trailer dropped, right? I thought he looked a little boring, right? He's just a big buff triangle, Johnny Bravo-shaped Scottish guy, but nothing in particular stood out to me at the time. But in hindsight, it was like a 2-minute 2D short with the majority of the time, you know, before the purple vanadium injection. He also really did look like Sigma in that thumbnail. But now, like, seeing this hero in 3D, fully in the flesh, transformed with all that purple juice, purple spikes and stuff, and his ability kit, I actually take it back. I really do think that spiky wall, the leap, the purple blades, he's a cool guy, a chill guy, in fact. And the blend of his abilities make him really, really dynamic because you can use them in so many different ways. So let's talk about the pros and cons of this hero. Pros, again, by far the multi-usage of each of the abilities. It opens up an insane amount of combos. Literally everything in his kit can be chained together. Be kind of pointless to go through everything, but like Jagged Wall, obviously you can use it defensively, right? Block chokes off, use it as a piece of cover, Diva Bomb coming down, you're good to go. You can use it to, you know, set up a boop so that you can go for your combo. You can also use it to get them out of position. You can trap them in the corner, and every time they touch that spiky wall, they take 40 damage every so often. You can even use it on yourself for mobility, right? Wall yourself up to give yourself a better angle, vault on it, or like, you know, wall the wall over here so that you can climb up and vault to it. Spike Guard, obviously you can use it defensively to tank and survive. It can be offensive AoE DPS. You can actually shoot it over Brig's shield because it like wraps around it. And it also reloads your weapon. Don't forget that, right? Here, I have 6 ammo. Hold this down. Reloading pretty damn fast too. Pretty much reloads like Ash's kind of thing with 1 ammo at a time. Leap is that movement to either engage or disengage, combo with your wall after booping him, or to quickly hop on it. And this obviously ties into his passive vault like I mentioned earlier. And you can climb up to like the top of Lijiang Tower. I saw that clip on Reddit. Some really cool potential there. The ultimate, actually pretty damn counterable in a lot of ways after playing it with a bit, like with shield blocking it or sucking abilities like Sigma or Diva, or stunning or hacking him mid-cast animation. Honestly, it looked really OP at first when I first played with it, but after a while, it's actually not so bad when you consider other tank ultimates, relatively speaking. Like Sigma's ult, there's a big AoE circle, lifts people up, slams them down for big damage, and the time they spend in the air is comparable to the root time if you get rooted by this. So I actually see the reasoning why they let you use it through the wall for balance sake. Like, all in all, this hero's fun, legitimately fun, especially when there's so much to learn. So many combos. There's a skill ceiling that's going to take a long time for anybody to cap out on because you can use his abilities in so many different ways. Now, let's get to the fun stuff, the cons of this hero. This is where the hot take is, I guess. I don't think Hazard does one thing in the playstyle archetypes very well, which leads me to believe that he may not be competitively viable at the highest level. Now, this is my opinion, my hot take, but I feel like if you don't do one thing in particular very well, it's hard to find your place as a meta pick. Like, he can't play fast enough as true dive. His mobility, like this leap, is objectively worse than the true dive heroes like Doom, Ball, or Winston. Obviously, it has other capabilities with it, and it is on a relatively short cooldown, don't get me wrong, but I mean the distance traveled, that objectively is nowhere near the potential of what Winston's leap can do, especially if he primals as well, what Doom can do with his punch and seismic slam, and like Ball, obviously. Hazard's brawl potential, evidently he can't brawl at close range as much as like other brawls, and he's not really designed to brawl the other tank, right? He's not designed to brawl like Mauga or Orisa up in her face, or Reinhardt in particular. Like this shotgun stuff, especially against armored targets, doesn't do that much damage. He's kind of like a mobile Junker Queen, but Junker Queen actually has something to pull people down with the knife and get them into position, but Hazard has to shoot like this and wait for an opportunity to dive and punish a position. But again, his dive isn't really as fast as true dive. Speaking of the shotgun, like this poke, like if you think this hero is a poke hero, well, we have bigger problems if you think that's the case. He's a hero that's, again, designed to punish mistakes, and at the highest level, I think finding those positional mistakes gets harder and harder the higher you go, right? He can't match the backline access that Ball or Doom can. Maybe it's a bit closer to Diva, closer to Winston, but like Winston offers bubble to cut off line of sight, Diva offers defense matrix, and obviously if he's spending time trying to vault or like set up a wall or like trying to do shit like this to climb up vertically, he just seems really slow and to set up and stage, comparatively speaking, to the other heroes in his archetype. Getting walled off in a room isn't as punishing at the high level, since players realize that this is actually pretty reasonable at 350 HP. You can actually pop it and there's no like confusion on people shooting it. Sometimes with a Mei wall, people don't shoot it because they don't know which pillar people are shooting at, so it ends up like getting confused. People just kind of let the Mei wall stand. But I think 350 HP, everybody knows we're trapped in here, everybody shoot it. This thing goes down very quick. One single fan the hammer from cast plus like a little bit elsewhere goes down instantly. And then obviously this hero has no self-sustain, right? His only true tanking ability is just the spike guard, and you open yourself up to getting like hooked, slept, hacked, antied. Like Doom is comparable in how he kind of just stands there and power blocks, right? But Doom can instantly charge his rocket punch if he gets enough damage, and instantly has crazy mobility with the punch. He can seismic. He can even meteor strike instantly if he notices a sleep dart coming out while he's blocking. He goes invulnerable into the air, right? And then you can't get slept. But if I do this, like I'm getting slept by any reasonable Ana every single time. And I know you can do like some like slow leaps like this, or like, you know, you can do like a little 180 leap, I guess, or like change in direction. Sorry, 190-degree leap. But like, this is pretty slow and archy in the air, and you probably will get hooked out of the air. Orisa Javelin, slept again. Kind of slowish, pretty predictable. So all in all, again, I think he's fun, perfectly viable for the majority of players for quick play, but I do think he actually needs some buffs, because my opinion of him is that he's competitively weak-ish. And if I had to grade him, I'd give him like a B- for now. They want to release heroes on the safer side of strong, but this feels on the safer side of weak. Let me say, my assessment and opinion could be totally wrong. I'm okay with being wrong, but this is just the hunch I have for now. In his play state test, B-, right? He could be tweaked again before the Season 14 official release, but Blizzard now has the quick play data from this weekend to see how he's faring. And I hope they take into account the unmirrored matchup data and not the mirrored matchup data, because if anybody queued tank this weekend, they know all you see is Hazard versus Hazard. And if you actually tried matching him into the other tank matchups, I'm pretty sure there are some problematic ones like Mauga, Orisa, Hog, pretty similar to the ones that like cause problems for Doom. Even Diva can eat a lot of his stuff. Sigma can block most of his stuff as well. But it is really hard to say though, because his skill ceiling is incredibly high. Could just be a skill issue on my part, and this 3-day trial weekend is truly not enough time for myself and other players to get acquainted with him at a high level. And also, again, yeah, I've only seen the mirror matchup, really. Haven't played into all the other matchups, but just like on paper, it seemed like those heroes would give him a lot of issues. Now, here's the fun part, and probably maybe because you clicked the thumbnail, I actually think his kit here works better in a 6v6 environment, because again, in the 5v5 design, the tank has to be really good at one style, but in 6v6 you can offset those weaknesses with another tank pair, making Hazard play more as like a tanky DPS bruiser. Like he has a big HP pool because he's in the tank role, and he can, you know, use this to take advantage of jumping at isolated targets or enemies and utilizing the wall to achieve that without feeling like you're leaving your team in the dust as you go do that stuff to set up when you're doing your rollouts. Because if you do spend like 15 seconds to climb to the top of Lijiang, you're gonna get someone typing on your team like, "Where's our tank? We can't push in." Especially if you spend all that time setting up and it's like a failed, you know, dive and jump on a person, like your team's just gonna flame the shit out of you. Now, luckily, we do have these 6v6 trials coming soon this season in December, I think, or early January, where we can truly test, you know, modernized heroes in the 6v6 environment, including Hazard. This recent 6v6 with Overwatch Classic last season was, or this season, excuse me, as you're watching this, was just for fun. This was just a limited time mode in LTM and not indicative of what a true 6v6 would be, where you're allowed to do minimum 1, max 3. If you didn't read the article, you can pick up to 3 tanks, but you do need a minimum of 1 in each role, not a hard 2-2-2. So overall, Hazard, again, a little weak, better in 6v6, probably needs some buffs, but like I wouldn't jump the gun too soon. We'll take objective data from Blizzard before release and then tweak as time goes on, because as time goes on, players playing Hazard get better, and players who aren't playing the mirror and playing against Hazard will also get better at countering him and using stuff to deny his abilities, and then we'll see. So I do think he'll need a couple of patches and a bit of time in the game to really get a better understanding. I will say though, Blizzard has done a pretty good job on all the 2024 hero releases. I think Hazard, great blend of his abilities, very fun. Same with Venture, honestly, with the burrow and the drill and the up. Everyone's called Venture like a kind of like DPS Doom again. Who was the other hero this year? Juno, conceptually and by design, pretty fun and pretty good hero, just overtuned by numbers. Those are fixable by nerfing numbers, which they're constantly doing. The OWCS weekend, they're playing on an earlier patch. She's nerfed again on this patch where the ultimate takes longer to build. And I do foresee a few more nerfs coming in Season 14 to kind of put her in like a pretty standardized place, but you know, she offers stuff that other heroes don't. The biggest miss was by far Mauga, which was the 2023 November release, and you know, that one isn't like a numbers tweak issue. His whole design issue is like kind of unfixable unless you kind of rework him, where he's literally just stuck shooting other tanks, right, to like lifesteal and survive and all that fun stuff. But you know, 2024 releases, Blizzard's done a good job. Anyways, that's my yap session on Hazard. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me that he's kind of B-y, but maybe, you know, I said for the average player he probably feels really fun and cool, but like, has anybody here played the unmirrored Hazard matchup, played against Sombra, played against good Anas, played against Hogs, played against Orissas. Tell me how that felt for you and whether you agree with me or not. This is just me discussing my opinion, but it's like kind of like hopefully opening the seed for discussion. But yeah, and I look forward to seeing Hazard being tapped to his full potential in season 14. Anyways, bye.